Westwood One Sports presents Lynnell, Willingham.
Good morning, US of A. Welcome in to Westwood One Sports, a sports Sunday with the youngest in charge, Lynnell Willingham, taking you up to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. You know how to get at me. It's the People's Show. 310-840-4910 is how you reach me on the phones. You can hit me up on social media as well. Same handle on each and every social media platform. It is at NELL_BTP. Heck of a lot to get into here on a Sports Sunday. We'll talk plenty of college basketball as conference tournament weekend continued yesterday. We had some big-time performances as we were talking about during our show yesterday morning. We heard from our pal Josh Graham early on. He was on the scene for Duke in Virginia, which was one of the better games of yesterday as well. So a lot of college basketball that we'll get into. We'll get into Victor Wembanyama as well in the NBA. And I guess I should have said we'll get into the NBA, but we'll get into Victor Wembanyama. We'll get into his league, the National Basketball Association. It has been a very interesting NBA season. It's been a long NBA season. It's how I'll continually put it. And as we sit here getting geared up for the stretch run of the NBA regular season, I got some observations. I'll share those with you as they roll throughout the program as well. We will obviously talk about the National Football League, the drug that we all use and share in common. We'll talk about the National Football League as we roll throughout the show as well. Quarterbacks. We didn't get to it yesterday as we had our technical difficulty that we had to deal with. Then we got caught up on the phones. So we will get into quarterbacks coming up here this afternoon because there are some new signal callers with some new destinations. And I'll tell you here throughout the course of the show, which new quarterback in a new destination is most set up for success? Who do I expect to play best in 2026? We'll talk about that as we roll throughout the program as well. We appreciate you locking into the show. However you're doing so, you can check us out on one of our over 200-plus affiliates across the country nationwide as we take you coast to coast each and every weekend here on Westwood One Sports, Sirius XM Channel 375, WestwoodOneSports.com, and the always free Westwood One Sports app. You can check us out on YouTube, streaming live there as well. Just search Westwood One Sports Night. You can get long-form content of the show, individual segments, YouTube shorts, and at the end of this bad boy, you get all 3 hours in its entirety. I want to start out in the land of college basketball because as we get geared up for the NCAA tournament, it is Selection Sunday coming up here tonight and later this afternoon, and everyone's going to be filling out their brackets, and it's going to be fun, man. It's that time of year, and here's what I will say big picture when it comes to here's what I'll say big picture when it comes to the NCAA tournament. This is kind of my rule of thumb here as we're getting geared up for the tournament. There is nothing that can happen, and this may be me being stubborn, but to me, there's nothing that can happen during conference championship week that drastically changes my opinion about how I feel about teams going into the NCAA tournament. Well, why do you say that, Lynnell? That's me baking in my excuse for what the hell happened to the University of Florida yesterday. Holy cow. Vanderbilt, 17-point victory over number 4 ranked Florida. Yeah, I know how I feel about the Gators. I have routinely said, hey, the Gators have the makeup and the fabric of one of the best teams in the country, right? They look like they are in that group of 4 that I continuously talk about, where I've put Arizona, Duke, Michigan, Florida. It's kind of how it's been for me for the better part of the last month. Florida's lost yesterday, their first loss since January the 24th. So the Gators have been rolling. Thomas Houck, Alex Condon and company have been playing really good basketball. Yesterday, we saw something for Florida that's kind of plagued them throughout the entirety of the year. They did not shoot the basketball well yesterday. It was their big Achilles heel. Their ability to, not knock down perimeter shots has been, something that's kind of plagued them all year. They're one of the worst three-point shooting teams statistically in the country, but it's strange because when you look at the individual profiles of guys, Xavier Lee is a guy that shot the ball well at Princeton. Thomas Houck is a guy that shot the ball well from the perimeter on the season. But when you look at their collection of parts, they're not a particularly good three-point shooting team from a percentage standpoint. That doesn't mean they can't get hot and spray you from downtown coming up in the tournament. But I was looking at social media yesterday, and there was a lot of people, in my opinion, overreacting to what we saw from the University of Florida in their 17-point loss. They were down 13 at the half. And let's be real here, right? Vanderbilt's kind of, tripped up here in conference tournament play. Excuse me, not conference tournament play, but in conference play, period. They're 26-7 on the year. There are folks out there across the country that feel like, hey, Vandy's got what it takes to go on a run, right? People believe in Tyler Tanner. People believe in Duke Miles, Okereke. They have some dudes. And Vanderbilt got off to a smoking hot start to begin the year. They were one of the final unbeaten teams in college basketball. So it's interesting to see them playing well as we enter the conference tournament. They kind of, tripped up toward the end of the regular season. So good to see them playing well. I think the 17-point loss for Florida says more about Vanderbilt to me than it does Florida. Maybe that's me being biased about a team that I think has national championship aspirations. I don't want to be wrong. But I could be ignoring the gospel. You know what I'm saying? I could be not, giving it its full credit for what happened yesterday. But that's kind of why I started off the show the way that I did with this very statement. There's nothing that I can see during conference tournament play that will drastically change, how I view the NCAA tournament. I know when people say you want to be playing your best basketball at the right time. I 110% subscribe to that. I believe in that. But the bottom line for me is, do I put all of my eggs in the basket of what I saw in one game or two games in the conference tournament? Or do I rely more so on the body of work I saw throughout the course of the regular season? That's kind of the determining factor. That's why Selection Sunday is always so fascinating when you have to think about those folks ranking all these teams and giving out seeds and so on and so forth. I'll be real, right? I love college basketball. I like college basketball. It's great. Fun to watch. The atmospheres in these games yesterday were absolutely awesome. I say all that to say this. Selection Sunday itself, the actual process of the team reveals, does not move me. Not something that I will be sitting down popping popcorn to, if you pick up what I'm putting down. It's not my cup of tea. But the games yesterday were awesome, and we got two more coming up here this afternoon as we'll get the Big Ten championship between Purdue and Michigan, and then we'll talk about, or we'll see rather, Vanderbilt in the SEC championship game. Vanderbilt, the team we were just talking about. Vandy 2.5-point favorites against Arkansas. Speaking of the Razorbacks, they're a team that I think has what it takes to potentially go all the way. I don't have them in my top four in terms of the favorites, but you saw yesterday why Arkansas is bad. And when I say bad, I mean bad that's good, ladies and gentlemen, right? Darius Acuff was 7-21 from the field yesterday. 2 of 7 from downtown. Wasn't his best. 5 turnovers. Didn't shoot it particularly well. But Malik Thomas picked up the slack. 29 points, 9 of 15 from the field, 4-7 from the great beyond. I spoke about Malik Thomas yesterday. I spoke about Arkansas yesterday. I think Darius Acuff has played his way into the top 5 of the NBA draft without a shadow of a doubt. I think Darius Acuff has played his way into the top 5. And I'll take it a step further. I think he's the best point guard in the country. Talking about Darius Acuff. Yeah, I know how I feel about my boy DP, Darren Peterson out of Kansas. Darius Acuff to me is the best guard in the country. Didn't shoot it well yesterday. Here's why Arkansas is special. They have multiple guys, 3 different guys that can fill it up and get you buckets come the tournament. My old pal Josh Graham says it best, says it all the time. I agree with him. Guards win in the month of March. And the guard play that Arkansas has between Darius Acuff, Billy Richmond, and Malik Thomas, I would stack it up against anybody in the country. What Arkansas got yesterday that I thought was really impressive was Malik Ewing giving you a double-double, 14 and 13 off the bench as they ended the Cinderella run of Ole Miss. By the way, if you're looking for another guard potentially that's not a freshman in this loaded 2026 class, A.J. Storr was an absolute menace yesterday. Big-time shot after big-time shot. But ultimately, it's Arkansas that punches their ticket to the SEC championship game. When it comes to the Razorbacks, though, man, like John Calipari's been here before. I like Arkansas as like a sneaky team that can potentially go on a run and get hot and make it all the way to the Elite Eight. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the type of team that they have. That's the type of guard play that they have. And maybe I put more stock into it than other people across the country. But when you got Coach Cal, baby, right? When he's the man, you know, roaming and strutting down your sidelines, I feel good about you. He's been here before. He understands what it takes. He gets it. That's the reality of the situation here. So that's the 2 conference championship games that we have this afternoon, SEC title game, as well as the Big Ten title game. The Big 12 settled yesterday as Arizona knocked off Houston. And remember yesterday how bold I was feeling? We called Josh Graham mid-segment. It was great. Awesome. I was pumping my chest out about Darren Peterson. We'll get to him in a second. But I bring that up because I wanted Josh to apologize. I wanted Josh to apologize to Darren Peterson. And Josh, like the stand-up man, the individual that he is, he apologized. Now I'm going to apologize. I'm a man first, right? This job is amazing. We're like weathermen. It's the only profession where you can be wrong 5 days out of the week with no consequences. I was wrong. Rarely am I wrong, but I was wrong. Here's what I was wrong about. Jaden Bradley, young man, I'm not going to say I wasn't familiar with your game per se, but I was not aware, I guess, of the impact that he has on the University of Arizona. Jaden Bradley, the senior for Arizona, won the Big 12 Conference Player of the Year over A.J. DeBonsa. And obviously, yesterday I went on my diatribe about how I felt about that egregious snub. But Jaden Bradley was huge yesterday for Arizona. Defensively, he was big right off the rip, shooting the basketball, 6 of 10, 2 of 5 from downtown. He's the dude that's getting hot here. I did learn something yesterday. I told you I'm not putting a whole lot of stock in what happens in conference tournament play. But what we saw yesterday was a heavyweight bout between 2 of the 4 teams, 2 of the 5 teams that I think can win the national championship game. And what I learned yesterday after watching, I think the Arizona Wildcats right now are my favorite to win the NCAA tournament. Yeah, they got it, man. They have the guard play with Braden Burries and Jaden Bradley. You got your switchable defensive big and Koa Pete, who's starting to come on. He was big time yesterday. 21 points, the young freshie getting reacclimated here, starting to really fill out his role. I love what they have with De La Rosa, as we saw him go crazy earlier in this tournament. and we know what he can do shooting the ball from the perimeter. The bigs in the middle, Krivas, and they got in foul trouble yesterday. And Awaka comes in and gives you really good minutes. We know what you're going to get from Krishenkov. I love this Arizona team. I do. They're long. They got switchable bigs. And they have really the number one ingredient that you need in the month of March, a backcourt that can straight up go get you a bucket. And that's what you saw from Braden Burries and Jaden Bradley throughout the course of the season. I still don't think Jaden Bradley should have won Conference Player of the Year. But I understand it now. I'm more familiar with his game, the way that he's played throughout this conference tournament, hitting the buzzer beater on Friday night. He's big time. He started off hot yesterday, hitting his first 2 threes, and then he finished 4 for 10 from the field. What I think was the more important development yesterday for Arizona was their 2 young puppies, Braden Burries and Koa Pete, figuring it out. Braden Burries hadn't shot the ball well. He didn't shoot the ball well to start yesterday against Houston. Airballed his first 2 threes. So when you're talking about the NCAA tournament and these star-studded freshmen, this is where I kind of recalibrate my expectations, is how I will put it, right? This is where I kind of lock in at a different level, so to speak, because of the fact that it's the month of March. It's big time. It's one thing for me to watch you as a star-studded freshman go drop 40 in a random February game in your conference. It's different when you do it during the NCAA tournament, right? Pressure either makes diamonds or bust pipes, right? What you saw from Braden Burries yesterday, I thought that was big time, especially the resilience that he showed in the game itself as he started off 0 for 3, airballing his first 2 shots. Ends up being, the leading scorer on the night with Koa Pete. Like, that's big-time stuff. That's the resilience that I want out of my lead freshman guard. And if Arizona is going to be as good as I think they can be, Braden Burries is going to have to be a big part of this thing. Braden Burries is going to have to be a big part of it. So, fascinating to see. Arizona takes home the Big 12 tournament championship. As far as the losers, the Houston Cougars, like I said, just like with Florida, not really panicking with Houston either. I'm just not. They got what it takes. I believe in Kingston Flemings. I believe in Emmanuel Sharp. I believe in Usain. Like, they got dudes, man. Mercy Miller off the bench. I like that group. We saw them go on a run last year. We know what Coach Sampson is about. We know what his teams are about and how they've played in the month of March. I trust them as much as any team in the country. But maybe yesterday, that loss for Houston, maybe that's what was best for business. Maybe that's what the Houston Cougars ultimately needed. We'll see. Just getting rolling here on a Sports Sunday with the youngest in charge, Lynnell Willingham, taking you up to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Number to hit me up, 310-840-4910. 310-840-4910 is the number. A lot more to get into. We'll get into the NBA as we roll throughout the show as well. Victor Wembanyama with a big-time performance last night. The LA Lakers, all of a sudden, ladies and gentlemen, playing good basketball as we get geared up for the postseason in the NBA. How about this? We'll do that coming up on the other side of the break. Let's dive into the NBA. We'll go around the association, and we'll look at the biggest stories from yesterday, including the LA Lakers knocking off the Denver Nuggets. Are we buying the Lakers as a championship contender? We'll discuss that on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere. This is a Sports Sunday with the youngest in charge, Lynnell Willingham, here on Westwood One Sports. This portion of the show brought to you by our pals at Progressive Commercial Insurance. It protects small businesses with affordable coverage options. Get a quote today at progressivecommercial.com.
Westwood One Sports presents Lynnell Willingham.
Yes, indeed. It is a sports Sunday here with the youngest in charge, Lynnell Willingham, taking you up to 11 a.m. Eastern time. You know how to hit me up, 310-840-4910. That's how you hit me up on the phones. You hit me up on social media as well. Same handle on each and every social media platform. It is at NELL_BTP. Appreciate you all, man. Locking in, however you're doing so. Sirius XM, channel 375, WestwoodOneSports.com. And the always free Westwood One Sports app. You can check us out, the visual element of the program, streaming live on X, streaming live on YouTube. On YouTube, just search Westwood One Sports Night. You can get long-form content of the show, YouTube shorts, and then at the end of this bad boy, you get all 3 hours in its entirety. We're going to, recap free agency in the NFL as we continue to roll throughout the program here this morning. We will get back into college basketball a little bit later as Selection Sunday, is this afternoon. We'll find out what it is and what it ain't when it comes to the NCAA tournament. I do want to talk about the NBA, though. And the question that I just posed on X is, do the Lakers have any shot of making it out of the Western Conference? Do the Lakers have a legitimate shot of making it out of the Western Conference? Well, why do you ask that, Lynnell? Well, if you're a sicko out there that believes in the LA Lakers and watches them faithfully, you know that yesterday they picked up a pretty seismic win over Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets. Austin Reeves, Luka Doncic, getting it done. Big-time shot making. Reeves with a big-time shot to send him to OT. Doncic with the big-time shot to put him over the hump. They were awesome yesterday. Luka and Austin Reeves combined for 62 points, 18 rebounds, and 19 assists yesterday. So those two dudes, they have the ability, I think, and this hurts me to say this, they have the ability to carry the Lakers offensively if LeBron James' old ass gets out the way. Lynnell, what are you doing? What do you mean? Yeah, I know how I feel about my king. It's my king. I'm a LeBron guy. I am the LeBron guy. It feels like on this station, on this network. But I know how I get down, baby. I'm the author of authenticity. I'm going to tell it to you how a T.I. is. I've seen enough. The Los Angeles Lakers are being held back offensively by LeBron. Yesterday, you saw LeBron take the passive approach. He took the fourth most shots yesterday. Marcus Smart got up more shots than LeBron James yesterday. But what I like that I got from LeBron yesterday is what I saw from him defensively. Moving his puppies, moving side to side. LeBron's going to put his pride to the side, man, and understand that on this team, he's not the number one option, and he's not the number two option. This offense for the Lakers should go through Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic. And I do want to get some love to AR too, man. Like, I know the NBA is really interesting in terms of like how you get in. There's a lot of networking and politicking that goes into it. There are a lot of really talented dudes that are on the streets that aren't in the NBA because the politics didn't work out in their favor, so to speak. That could have been Austin Reeves, but he did what he was supposed to do. He's gotten better, and he's got the opportunity that he's got. Austin Reeves is a bucket, man. Austin Reeves, I talk about Jaylen Brown a lot in terms of like who's raised their stock, who's impressed me the most this year. Austin Reeves is right near the top of that list, man. Excuse my French, that white boy can hoop, man. I'm telling you. Austin Reeves can hoop. And the thing that I love, and I don't like Luka and all the crybaby antics that we get out of his ass. But what I do like out of Austin Reeves, and I hope it rubs off on Luka, he competes on the defensive end too. He may not be super duper athletic, and he may not have the physical tools, but he plays hard. And I think if you're the Lakers, like that's what it's going to have to take. You're going to need Marcus Smart playing gritty. You're going to need DeAndre Ayton playing gritty. Here's the other thing, too. Whoever gave DeAndre Ayton the nickname Domination, what the hell were you thinking? There is nothing dominant about his big soft ass. I'll be very honest with you. Imagine if the Lakers had a real center. That's what's ultimately going to be their Achilles heel. The big combination of Jackson Hayes and DeAndre Ayton is probably the worst big rotation amongst all the playoff teams in the Western Conference. Two soft-ass Gen Zers that wear man purses. I'm telling you. And I'm a youngster. I'm 28, baby. You know what I'm saying? I get down. But it's something about DeAndre Ayton and Jackson Hayes that rubs me the wrong way. It just does. But I think, in all sincerity, I think those two bigs are probably going to be their shortcoming. Like, that's what's going to cost them, right? I don't know whether they want to hit free agency. I don't know whether there's a veteran out there that can potentially help them. But I'm telling you, I'm not saying it to be funny. I'm saying it to be real. There is a lack of toughness, in all sincerity. I know I talked about the man purses. And if you got drip, you got drip. I understand some outfits, calls for a little over-the-shoulder situation. Carlos shaking his head. Hell to the no. Hell to the no. I can speak and say there are some situations that may cause for it. Maybe.
No excuses for a man purse.
Not at all. Not at
None.
all. Carlos said it, not me. Here's what I'll say, though. It's hard for me to look at this from a non-LeBron James angle. Let's just look at the Western Conference standings right now and really do a real check-in on the LA Lakers. After yesterday's win, they are the 3 seed, and they have a half-game lead over Houston. They got a full game lead over Minnesota. They got a game and a half lead over Denver. If the playoffs were to start today, we would have that matchup we got yesterday, Lakers Nuggets, that would be the opening round 7-game series for LA. I don't know if I like the Lakers in a 7-game series against Denver. I don't. Because that, like I said, you can't have, for my money, the worst front court in the West and compete with Denver in a 7-game series. It's just not, it's not going to go well for you. Nikola Jokic is going to, at some point, do the damn thing and go Kanye crazy. Yesterday, he was damn good. 24, 16, and 14. 5 steals. He was great yesterday. I think the big development yesterday, if you're a Nuggets fan, if you want to feel good about yourself, that's the Aaron Gordon that gives you the opportunity to be a finals team. Now, Jamal Murray couldn't hit the wide side of a barn yesterday. 1 for 14 from the field. Imagine if Jamal Murray hits 3 shots. Denver wins. So if you're a Laker fan, the question I was asking, and maybe you can hit us up on the phones with this as well, 310-840-4910, do the Lakers have a legit shot at coming out of the West? I would still say no. I would still say no despite yesterday's result, despite them being the 3 seed. I think the best matchup for the Lakers in the playoffs in that opening round is probably the Rockets. It's probably the Rockets. Now, what will really be good is if the Phoenix Suns, who, by the way, if you're talking about shocking developments in the 2026 NBA season, the fact that Phoenix is a game and a half out of the 6th seed is totally crazy. I'm a Wizards fan, and we got all their first-round picks coming up. So I thought they would suck. I was hoping they would suck. But Devin Booker's been great. That fake tough guy, Dylan Brooks, has been really, really good for them. The youngster, I was going to call him the young cougar. But a cougar is when an older woman likes you. So I was only saying that to try to rag on Jalen Green for wifing up Dre. I mean, it's not smart, pal. But he's played well for them. Devin Booker, obviously, has been great. Grayson Allen give you good minutes. That would be the Lakers' best opportunity, best matchup to advance in the first round. is if the Phoenix Suns somehow sneak into that 6th seed. Speaking of another play-in team, there are 2 teams in the play-in that have megastars that I believe in. Kawhi Leonard and Steph Curry. Steph Curry's on the shelf right now. Warriors have lost 4 in a row. They feel like they're reeling. They only got a half game up on Portland, but they're going to stay in the play-in because Memphis is so far out of Dodge that Golden State's going to get in just for the hell of it. They'll probably end up being the 10 seed. Talk about the Warriors. We probably won't see Steph Curry for a while. He's dealing with jumper's knee. It just sounds like he's getting old. I don't really know what jumper's knee is, so to speak, but he's got inflammation in the knee. It's causing him to miss games. It's interesting, man. His health is tough. On the flip side of it, I brought you all the numbers during the week on the LA Clippers in terms of like they're having one of the best regular season turnarounds that we've ever seen in terms of being 15 games under 500 and now over 500 this late in the season. I mean, they have been awesome, and it's really because of Kawhi Leonard, who has been tremendous here throughout the course of the year. One thing about Kawhi, man, Kawhi gets to that spot, it's a wrap. Pack it up. That's what he's done this year for the LA Clippers. But the Lakers are interesting. They are. Not because I think that they have a shot to advance in the West, but the storyline is fascinating. Can a veteran like LeBron put his pride to the side for the betterment of the team? And my GOAT, LeBron's my GOAT, I would think you should be able to do that. I think he would have an easier time, or he's going to have an easier time doing that than a Michael Jordan would, than a Kobe Bryant would, because I don't think LeBron James has the massive ego that those 2 dudes had, and I don't think LeBron needs to be the best player offensively or the best player on the team. He can help out the Lakers in so many other ways, as a ball screener, as a defender, rebounding. There's so many other ways he can help LA. Right now, they don't need him offensively. Marcus Smart was more impactful than you yesterday offensively, and that's okay. That's just where you're at in your career. The only way that the Lakers can go on a run and potentially get out of the Western Conference, potentially, is if LeBron James locks in and accepts his role as like the 4th option. And I need DeAndre Ayton and Jackson Hayes to show that they have a pulse. Show that they're not soft. Let's just be real. Show me that you're not soft. I think you are soft, and there's nothing you can really do to change that. But it is what it is. We'll see what happens with the Lakers, come postseason time in the association. 310-840-4910 is the number here on Westwood One Sports. It is a Sports Saturday with the youngest in Charles and Willingham. I'll get you up to 11 a.m. Eastern time. You can hit me up on social media. We had a couple of tweets roll in as we're in this opening hour of the program. My guy Dave Farley tweets at me and says, hey, as an Arizona alum, I agree with your take about the Wildcats listening via the Score in Chicago. Well, shout out to you, my friend, listening on the Score in Chicago, one of our over 200-plus affiliates across the country, as we take you coast to coast 24/7 here on Westwood One Sports. There is a new face of the NBA. I'll tell you who that is on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere. This is Westwood One Sports. if the playoffs started today, they would take on the Nuggets in a 7-game series. Question is this: do the Lakers have a legit shot at coming out of the West? 310-840-4910. You can hit me up on social media with that as well. It is at NELL_BTP. We appreciate it, though, man. Like I always say, locking into the show however you're doing so. If you're checking us out on one of our over 200-plus affiliates, we appreciate you checking us out that way. If you're checking us out via YouTube, we appreciate you doing that. If you want to check us out on YouTube, just search Westwood One Sports Night. Like, subscribe, comment to get long-form content of the program. YouTube Shorts, and then at the end of this bad boy, you get all 3 hours in its entirety. Just subscribe and search Westwood One Sports Night. I told you that I really still don't believe in the Lakers coming out of the West. Last night felt good. If you're a Lakers fan, didn't feel particularly great for me because I'll be real. And this is where I'll peel the curtain back. It pains me to know that LeBron James is not a number 1 or number 2 option on this team. I've never witnessed anything like it. We've never witnessed anything like it as basketball fans. This is the first time that he's taken a back seat to 2 different dudes. Now, we've seen him take a back seat to Kyrie before, right? I've seen him take a back seat to Dwayne Wade before. You never seen him take a back seat to 2 dudes. I think it's what's best for business, though. And I still think LeBron's the greatest of all time. I still think he's the greatest athlete of all time. We just may be witnessing the beginning of the end. Father Time may have finally checked into the game versus LeBron. Like, that's how it feels right now when it comes to the LA Lakers. Now, as LeBron is kind of waning off into the sunset, the baton has been passed, if you pick up what I'm putting down. The baton has been passed, and it has been passed to someone who, and I know what folks are going to say, damn, Lynnell, already? Yes. The baton is being passed to a young man that has the ability to potentially be the greatest ever. The baton is being passed to a young man that legitimately has the talent, the mentality, the temperament to go down as maybe the greatest hooper of all time. And his name is Victor Wembanyama. 31 minutes yesterday for Victor Wembanyama. 32 points on 13 of 24 shooting. 5 of 10 from beyond the arc. 12 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals, 4 blocks. No big deal. It's just what the hell he does at this point. Right now, the San Antonio Spurs are the best team in basketball. I said this 2 weeks ago to you all. It remains true. Honestly. It remains true. They are the best team in basketball. And as we continue to ease our way towards the postseason, I think it will become more and more evident. They have everything that it takes, right, to go on a run. They have the perimeter shooting. They have the perimeter defense. They have the superstar hub. And on their home floor, they're as good as anybody. So, yes, not only do I think Victor Wembanyama is getting handed the baton right now, not only do I think he's the future face of the league, I think his Spurs are not a year away. I don't think they're a postseason away. I don't think this is a next year thing for them. The Spurs, rather, are ready right now. The Spurs are ready right now. And if you take a peek at the standings here, with about a month left to go, they're the number 2 seed in the Western Conference. They're just 3 games behind Oklahoma City. Do you think they catch them? That's not where my mind is at. Like, do they catch OKC? even if they don't, right? Even if they don't, I still think they go on to win the finals. This, to me, top to bottom, is the best team in basketball. What they have at the guard spot, elite, with De'Aaron Fox pushing pace. Stephon Castle in year 2 has already emerged as one of the best perimeter defenders in basketball. And then Victor Wembanyama he does whatever the hell he wants. Honestly. Like, I try not to speak in hyperbole. Like, genuinely. I'm learning. That was something I did early on in my sports radio career. Some people liked it. Most people hated it. When it comes to Victor, Wemby, oof. Quite literally, to me, the best player in basketball right now. There is nobody that has the two-way impact that Victor has. He's a legitimate superstar on both ends of the floor. It just is what it is, man. It is what it is. I just feel like health is the only thing that can hold that group back. It feels like health is the only thing that can hold that group back. Honestly. How many championships? See, this is what kills me with you guys. Because I thought about this because it's like I'm really putting LeBron on the shelf right now. And it feels crazy to do it as a LeBron stan, but like it's the reality of the situation. How many titles, like, do you guys believe in ring culture? Like, for my old heads out there that are going to die on the hill that Michael's the greatest ever, what does Wemby have to do? Does Wemby have to get 6 championships? My thing is this. I give a rat's ass how many titles Michael has. You can watch Wemby and watch Michael and know that Wemby's the better player. Like, Michael's defensive impact was not as dominant as what Wemby's doing. I got Pete Tollner types in on the YouTube chat. Oh, gosh. Is y'all going to do this to me? Wemby gets opened up by the Knicks repeatedly. Do you really want me to, are you like trying to engage me or rage bait me to say something nasty about Karl Anthony Towns? That confused ass brother. Karl Anthony Towns has a personality disorder. Karl Anthony Towns doesn't know who Karl Anthony Towns is. You got to be in tune with your star player, man. You do. 310-840-4910 is the number. Sports Sunday with the youngest in Charles and Willingham. I'll take you up to 11 a.m. Eastern time. Now that we got some basketball out of the way, we will talk about the National Football League coming up as we push towards 11 a.m. Eastern time. We do have some big-time college basketball coming up later on this afternoon. Conference championship matchups in the SEC and the Big Ten. Vanderbilt versus Arkansas. Michigan taking on Wisconsin. I'm super excited for it. We also got the World Baseball Classic continuing. I know we haven't talked a lot about that on this show at all. I got Carlos with a K is our World Baseball Classic insider. What about the matchup we get coming up later tonight? The Dominicans, with all their fire bats, taking on the United States. There's a certain somebody that's on the mound as well. How's he going to perform? We'll talk about the World Baseball Classic. We'll get into the National Football League. We'll talk some basketball. We'll do it all next here on Westwood One Sports. Am I allowed to say that? Here I go. Westwood One Sports continues. As we take you coast to coast, you're tapped in to the youngest in Charles and Willingham. We get you to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Number to hit me up, 310-840-4910. 310-840-4910. You can tweet at me as well. Same handle on each and every social media platform. It is at NELL_BTP. If you're checking us out on X via the live stream, we appreciate you locking in. You can check out the live stream on YouTube as well. Just search Westwood One Sports Night. Like, subscribe, comment to get long-form content, including entire segments. And at the end of this bad boy, you get all 3 hours in its entirety. Just search Westwood One Sports Night. Can I do one of my petty YouTube plugs here? You all are awesome. Like, genuinely. I'm willing to put you all, our listeners on this station, the folks that tune into this network faithfully, I'm willing to put you up against anybody in the country in terms of your participation, your ability to comprehend, your ability to help us out. A whopping 832 subscribers right now. Shout out to you guys. I want to give you all credit every chance that I possibly can.
You're welcome.
We're on the chase for 1,000, baby, by the end of the NCAA tournament. We've come, we've saw, we've conquered, and you all just keep doing the damn thing, man. So shout out to you for being the best fans in the world, Craig. Couple of different things we can talk about here. We will get into the National Football League coming up in a moment. We'll give you some winners and losers of free agency. We'll look at the best available guys in free agency. We'll talk a little bit about the quarterbacks that are on the move in the NFL as well. But I do want to talk a little bit of World Baseball Classic, man. Our guy Carlos with a K, the super producer of the program. He is our resident World Baseball Classic insider here on Westwood One Sports. Paul Skeens versus the Dominican Republic coming up later tonight. For those of you that are casual baseball fans, even the casualist of baseball fans understands that boy Paul Skeens is filthy, nasty stuff that he tosses out on a routine basis. How does he fare tonight against this Dominican Republic lineup that's got some fire in terms of what they have with the bats? Carlos, you were saying it as we were in the break. If you're the U.S., you're looking for Skeens to last 4.5, 5. If he doesn't, that spells trouble for the red, white, and blue.
Yeah. So I saw it firsthand. I mean, Puerto Rico nearly did not have the pitching that anybody else in the tournament has. Seth Lugo couldn't even get out of the second inning, so that pretty much doomed Puerto Rico. Italy advances 8-6. Yeah, that sucked.
If you were watching yesterday, watching Puerto Rico, you may have had a heart attack.
Yeah. Or you might have flatlined like I did because that offense was dead for 7 innings. But they finally showed some fight. But alas, I knew Puerto Rico wasn't going to have a deep run this tournament. But the U.S. could be looking at a similar situation here. But they have probably one of the best pitchers in the game right now, and that's Paul Skeens.
Yep.
Who's winning in life? He's got Livy Dunn. Yeah, he's gonna get paid.
Overrated.
Oh, you think Livy or Paul Skeens?
Livy Dunn, man.
I don't know about overrated, but you can certainly find that at LSU, Ole Miss, Alabama.
I'm about to say, man,
Auburn.
it's walking around somewhere on a college campus on the East Coast, baby. Come on.
It's not exclusive to Death Valley.
You know what I'm saying?
But hey, listen, he's still winning though, man. Because
no, for sure.
It's
everything we're playing for the Pirates.
That's right. Other than playing for the Pirates, but don't worry, he'll get traded to the Yankees soon. That being said, if Paul Skeens goes less than 4 innings, that means the U.S. is in trouble. They're going to need some length out of him because 100%. That Dominican lineup is absolutely potent. Fernando Tatis, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Manny Machado, Ketel Marte, Juan Soto. Like, these are household names if you follow baseball, and they're all in one team. Now, the DR doesn't have any slouches for pitching as well. I think Luis Severino is going to be their starter today, so the U.S. bats got to be able to kind of take care of business as well. I think the American success is going to be tag up the Dominicans early.
Yeah.
Get, strike first blood when it comes to scoring runs. If you can get a 3 spot and Skeens can give you 5 innings, then I think you're in good pace in order to knock off the DR. because like you said, it is an absolute potent lineup. So
fireworks, man. Yeah.
This to me, this got all the makings to be the best game in the tournament that we have so far.
Sure.
And that's including Venezuela upsetting Japan last night. That was an absolute shocker.
By the way,
to get knocked off.
My goat Shohei, man.
Yeah,
he did his part.
No, he did his thing. You can't do it all by yourself. Baseball's 1 of 9 in the lineup.
Yes, indeed. World Baseball Classic continues. First pitch tonight set for 8 p.m. Eastern time. Paul Skeens, the ace for the Pirates, going to try to do his thing against that really, really potent Dominican Republic lineup. Can I ask a question here? Maybe it's a stupid question. Why is baseball not in the Olympics? Why do we do this World Baseball Classic? Why do they not just get their own Olympics?
So I think the WBC was the answer to really what the Olympics was supposed to be. So the thing with the Olympics, and you see this with Major League Soccer, right? Mm-hmm. So Major League Soccer had a schedule that was opposite of everybody else in terms of international soccer. So Major League Soccer, they basically tried to avoid the NFL at all costs. So they started in the spring and ended in October, November. Again, basically when NFL was about to start heading off. The international soccer calendar is the other way around. They start essentially in the fall, and then they run up to close to spring, summertime, and then that's where all the international, like the CONCACAF Cup, the World Cup every 4 years, and all that stuff. That's where all those international games started to take place. So Major League Soccer is actually changing their schedule to match everybody else's. So like those high-end players that do play for national teams or go play in tournaments, they can go ahead and do that. Baseball's kind of had a similar situation, whereas their schedule doesn't really align with how
it's because they play all damn year. That's because they play all year long.
You're right. Baseball never takes off. I feel like the World Series was 2 weeks ago. Obviously, I'm being hyperbolic here, but
no, it's real.
It's like 2-3 months, and then you're right back into the baseball. To me, and this is someone who's grown up watching baseball. I love baseball. It's my first love. I played baseball since I was 8 years old. I'm in sports right now because I can no longer play baseball. 2 arm surgeries. I have a dead arm, so like there's nothing I can do in regards to that. Baseball, the regular season is too damn long. 162 games is absolutely tomfoolery. We can get it to 154 and it'd be just as fine. There's no reason that we need to start, baseball.
There's no reason we need a 100-game season in any sport. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
100 games. I just think I get that's kind of what makes it special, but like
it's a grind. No, I think 100 is too few. Like we saw the Mickey Mouse title that the Dodgers got with that for a couple years ago when it was like a 66-game season. That's ridiculously short. I don't acknowledge that one, but I think if you hit anywhere between 135, 154 games, I think you're in a good sweet spot there. 154, I'd be totally fine with that one to start off with and then see where you go. But in any case, why don't they have the Olympics? They're going to have it. By you listen to Bryce Harper a couple weeks ago. We played the audio here at Say What. Bryce Harper is a big champion of the Olympics. There's a lot of people do want to do it. I think the only way to work is every 4 years, us as fans are going to have to come to the realization that we're not going to get an all-star game.
So you're saying like having an Olympic break, an Olympic break.
Yeah. You instead of having All-Star week for like a week, and some of the players take off. A couple of people go do a home run derby and whatnot. You have the Olympics for like a week and get everybody a 2-week break. So I think every 4 years you just Major League Baseball season. Take a suspension, take your break. 2 weeks, do your Olympics. Come on back.
310-840-4910. So we got a couple callers lined up. We'll get to Sam in Detroit. Sam, am I tripping about the Spurs? I think they're the best team in the Western Conference right now. Am I putting? Am I putting them over too soon?
No, you're not. I live in Detroit. I'm from Kansas City, but I grew up watching the Spurs. I think I started watching them in like '98, all the way to like '05, where they won every other year, '01, '03, '05, with all the old OG Spurs and Popovich. So I'm a diehard Spurs fan. You're not over the line. I think they are going to win this year. Lions, NFL Lions, they're signing all these homeless people off the street.
Whoa! Hey, look, I get what you're saying, though. I get what you're saying. This is not this is not Brad Holmes and company going out and getting you household names. Look, I say it all the time, man. I don't know if this is your first time tapping into me, brother, but the Lions are past their prime. The Lions are past their prime. They're out of their championship window, in my opinion.
They are. To me, they are. They're seriously regressing. You went from the championship game to not even making the playoffs in the span of, 2 years? It's over. Me being from Missouri, born in Missouri, I'm going to be rooting for my Chiefs until 2031.
Oh, so you got two teams. You can't be trusted, brother.
Yeah.
I hope you don't got two radio stations, pal. I appreciate the call. 310-840-4910 is the number. Ah, damn. I kid, obviously. Appreciate the call, as always. We will get into the National Football League coming up here momentarily as we talk about free agency. It's been an electric start to the new league year in the NFL, so we will touch on that coming up here momentarily. We opened up the show talking some college basketball as conference tournament play continues this afternoon. Our final conference championship games come up later this afternoon, 1 p.m. Eastern time. Little SEC tilt between Vanderbilt and Arkansas. Then at 3:30 Eastern time, we get the Big Ten wrapping up with Purdue in Michigan. So, real quick here on the Big Ten. Can I get it off my chest? I will. People are, for whatever reason, I was listening last night, to my guy Josh Graham. He had Rob Dowser on from the Field of 68. And Rob and Josh both came out of their mouth and said they were high on the Wisconsin Badgers. And I'm interested, man. I am interested in hearing any argument for a non-Michigan Big Ten school. I think Michigan is the clear-cut best team in the Big Ten. I normally have a rule of thumb where I say Big Ten teams don't have a shot in hell, and it's kind of how I feel about the conference this year. A lot of fool's gold. I know Illinois. If there's another Big Ten team I believe in outside of Michigan, it'd be Illinois because they have the backcourt and the guard play to ultimately go on a legitimate run here in the tournament. But Wisconsin, I can't rock with. Like, Nebraska, I can't rock with. It's interesting, man. 310-840-4910 is the number. So we're going to have the official bracket set later on tonight, and everyone's going to be losing their mind and crying about who was robbed here, who was robbed there, who didn't get a fair shot at it, so on and so forth. That part of this process, as I said to start the show, doesn't really move me. I don't get super geeked up for Selection Sunday. But I am fascinated in this NCAA tournament. I am. I think there's more parity throughout the country than people are giving it credit for. I continue to hear 4 teams. I have 4 teams that I look at and go, yeah, they have the ingredients. They have everything it takes to go on a run. Arizona, which I continue to talk about, their backcourt, Jaden Bradley, Brayton Burries, Koa Pete starting to come on. Krivas, they've got the bench shooting. They have everything you need. Love the Wildcats. I think they're legitimate. Michigan, as I continue to say, like they have the size on the interior. They have the length on the perimeter. They have the three-point shooting. So I love them. Duke is interesting to me because I wonder how the injuries will impact this group. They still have, a top 5 player in the country, talking about Cam Boozer. But how do the injuries to the other guys in the rotation, how does that ultimately impact the Blue Devils? That'll be something that we monitor and watch. And then I look, it's 2 teams to me fighting for one spot when it comes to, the number 1 seed, so to speak. Houston and Florida, man. Florida got bent over by Vanderbilt yesterday. Bent over on the lap, pulled out the baby oil, pulled out the paddle, and spanked them. Wasn't a good performance. Florida couldn't hit the wide side of a barn yesterday. Like I said to open up the show, though, if you're just now tapping in, I'm not putting – how do I say this without double talking? I'm not going to put a whole lot of stock in what I saw yesterday negatively, right? Like, you can use some of the positive stuff as data points. The negative stuff I'm throwing out the window. Maybe that's me being biased. I just look at Florida, and I don't put too much stock in them getting their ass kicked because I still like what they have on paper. I still understand that if they get hot, they're the best team in the country. They're as good as any team in the country. Houston's another team that's super interesting. They also have the guard play between Emmanuel Sharp and Kingston Flemings to go on a deep run here. What I worry about a little bit with Houston, JoJo Tugler's undersized against some bigs across the country. I do worry about that. Like, will Houston ultimately be too small, so to speak, to go on an extended run? But y'all know how I feel about, Coach Sampson-led squads, man. They're tough. They're not going to beat themselves. They're going to dig in you defensively. They're going to give you everything they got. It's going to be physical. You're going to feel them when you wake up the next morning. It's just fascinating, man. So we got those 4 teams that we've talked about: Arizona, Michigan, Duke, Houston, Florida. So 5 teams, we'll say, that I feel like are the odds-on favorites. There's some other teams, man, across the country that I think have a legitimate shot. Some people, or one of those teams, rather, to me, was UConn. They got their face punched in yesterday by St. John's. So it's like hard for me to, it's hard for me to really lock in on UConn and really give them a legitimate shot. Our guy Daily Rowe in the chat says Wisconsin. What's up with Wisconsin, man? Everybody loves the Badgers. I don't understand why. I heard our guy Rob Dowser and Josh Graham talking about it yesterday. To me, Wisconsin, I don't know, man. I'm not bought in all the way. And I know that's not the astute analysis that you all listen to this program for. But, I don't know. I will say this, and what was impressive yesterday about Wisconsin. Nick Boyd was 6 of 20 from the field. They only lost by 3. That to me is impressive. Because I understand how good Nick Boyd is. The pride of New York. Gets to the Baja, gets to the basket, can score with anybody in the country. Can he do it on a game in, game out basis in March? That's what I wonder about with Nick Boyd. Can he do it against non-Big Ten guards? That's how I look at it. Are you saying the Big Ten's guard play is weak, Lynnell? No, it's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying. 310-840-4910 is the number. Our guy Drunkle Sam says, I guess soft outs are optional. Are you saying that he's talking about, he's doing a radio bit? That's not good, Drunkle Sam. Get yourself together. 310-840-4910 is the number here on Westwood One Sports. It is a Sports Sunday with the youngest in charge, Lynnell Willingham, taking you coast to coast. We appreciate you locking in, however you're doing so, on our 200-plus affiliates nationwide, Sirius XM Channel 375, WestwoodOneSports.com, and the always free Westwood One Sports app. A lot more to get to, including the National Football League. We will talk some NFL as we roll throughout this program as well. I'll give you winners and losers in terms of free agency. I'll also tell you which quarterback that's in a new destination has the best chance to succeed here on Westwood One Sports as well, man. So make sure you keep it locked right here on Westwood One Sports. What do you want to do next here? I do want to continue the conversation on college basketball a little bit, because yesterday we called out our guy Josh Graham, the king of North Kakalaki. He answered the call. He came on and still continued to bash Darren Peterson. We'll pick up that conversation, but we'll put a different spin on it. When we come back, I will give you my top 5 players in college basketball as we get geared up for the NCAA tournament. I told you I don't take too much stock in team performances during conference tournament week. I do take stock in player performances during conference tournament week. I'll tell you my best 5 players in all of college basketball next here on Westwood One Sports. Still vibing with you as we take you up to 11 a.m. Eastern Time here on Westwood One Sports. This is the youngest in charge of Willingham, taking you coast to coast on a Sports Sunday. Number to hit me up, 310-840-4910. 310-840-4910 is the number. You can tweet at me as well. Same handle on each and every social media platform. It is at NELL_BTP. I know this is probably like an older person thing. I'm having like chest gas. I feel like I've drank hella water here in the first hour and a half of the show. And maybe I'm consuming it too fast. It's like getting stuck right in the middle. And I know I'm wearing a Lito's Pizza hoodie. For those folks in the DMV that are listening on our over 200 plus affiliates, you know that's the best pizza joint in the country. Oh. You know about Lito's?
No, I just know about pizza.
Well, yeah, you're a New York guy, so you have good pizza taste, and you have Chicago roots as well. So you just have great pizza. You have great.
That's why my cholesterol's so damn high.
Yeah, I have chest gas. What do we call chest gas? I don't want to call it like acid reflux because it's not that.
Yeah,
it's just I have like air bubbles and pockets.
Yeah, I don't really know what to call it, but chest gas works.
Indigestion, says Lee. Upset stomach, indigestion, diarrhea. One of the best commercials of all time.
Pepto commercial now.
One of the best commercials of all time, Craig. 310-840-4910 is how you hit us up. You can check us out on YouTube as well to see my handsome mug. You can check out I got Carlos with a K rocking his Rangers jersey this morning, if I'm not mistaken. Sir. There we go, pal. There we go. We were talking a little bit about the World Baseball Classic. Paul Skeens on the bump coming up tonight against the ridiculous lineup of the Dominican Republic. That's a 8 p.m. first pitch. We got a bunch of college basketball on tap as well as we wrap up conference tournament season. Big Ten championship coming up at 1 p.m. Eastern time between Vandy in Michigan. Excuse me. Between Michigan and Wisconsin. I keep doing this. Between Michigan and Wisconsin, then in the SEC championship, we get Arkansas going up against Vanderbilt. Speaking of you read what I just read. Someone types in the YouTube chat. This is why you should subscribe on YouTube.
At the same time.
If you stand on your head, chest gas turns into ass gas. Lucky for you, I'm dealing with both. 310-840-4910 is the number. We're letting it all hang out here on a Sports Sunday with the youngest in charge. Good college basketball. Excuse me. I keep doing this. No, Wisconsin lost to Michigan yesterday. What am I talking about then? Why do I keep doing this? I've looked at the schedule 40 times already. I stayed up yesterday and watched all this basketball. Vanderbilt, Arkansas, Purdue, and Michigan. I'm sorry. First of all, can you blame me for lumping all the Big Ten schools together, not named Michigan? They suck. The Big Ten's not a real basketball conference, people. Sorry. No, that's just me being a sleepy early morning radio host, man. I can't believe I said Wisconsin. 310-840-4910. I mentioned we were going to give you my top 5 players in the country. I'm ready to do that. Here's what I'll say, though, and why I even want to give you a list. Y'all know I have gone to war, gone to bat for Darren Peterson all season long. We even called out Josh Graham yesterday on the air because of it. He's dealing with full body cramps. I continue to say he's got some sort of autoimmune disorder that nobody can understand. And I don't blame him for not being transparent with the public because we never know what he's dealing with. It's probably embarrassing on his behalf, man. You're viewed as his big, bad, strong, and mighty basketball player. So anytime, see, it's happening again. Anytime you have kinks in your armor, so to speak.
Might just be hiccups, brother.
It may just be hiccups, but like it doesn't feel great. Not the hiccups feel good. Darren Peterson, he probably wishes he just had hiccups instead of full body cramping. Yeah, instead of full body cramping, which we found out yesterday, an article written in the Kansas City Star They were able to do a one-on-one with DP and figure out what it is and what it ain't. I got Kansas as like one of those wild card surprise teams that could potentially go on a run because I believe in the talent, right? I believe in the talent. I just think they haven't, built enough continuity with one another throughout the course of the season. Talking about Kansas, but like I continue to reiterate, from a talent standpoint, they have what it takes. Will the continuity be there? That's the part that I kind of question when it comes to the Jayhawks. But I wanted to give you my top 5 players in college basketball because Darren Peterson may or may not be on that list anymore. So let's do it. If I had to go number 5, it would be Darren Peterson for me right now. He has dropped from the number 1 player in the country for me to the number 5 player in the country for me. And that's me giving him the benefit of the doubt. I understand what type of scorer he is. I understand what type of high-level athlete he is when he's healthy, when he's right. Got to see him a ton in high school. I'm a big YouTube high school basketball mixtape guy, by the way. Like, that's kind of my bag that I like to get into. And I've been hip to Darren Peterson for a couple of years now, man. Doing big-time things on the AAU circuit. Natural 3-level scorer that gets his teammates involved. He can shoot the jumper as pure of a stroke as anybody in all the land. It's just right now his body's not right. But to me, he's the 5th best player in the country. The 4th best player in the country, to me, and this is going to rub some people the wrong way, is Cameron Boozer of the University of Duke. I think Cam Boozer is the 4th best player in the country. It's not a slight at all, by the way. Yeah, that's the one other thing I gotta hopefully get you all to understand. Just because I call you or call Cam Boozer the 4th best player in the country, I'm not trying to disrespect him. I know that's what some people are going to say. Oh, Lynnell, you're disrespecting him. You're not giving him the credit that he deserves. I'm saying he's 4th best in a loaded class. So chill on your boy for a second. I love me some Cam Boozer, though, man. I think his basketball IQ is as high as anybody in the country. I love his ability to pass. I just think at the next level, I wonder if he's a high enough level of an athlete to still have the same success offensively. I worry about his offensive game at the next level because I'm like, everybody can go. Everybody should be able to guard him. He's not going to be bigger and stronger than a bunch of different guys the way he is in college. And then the speed thing and quickness was never really his forte in the first place. But to me, Cam Boozer, 4th best player in the country. The 3rd best player in the country for me right now is Caleb Wilson. I say for me right now. That was a crazy audio gaffe. 3rd best player in the country for me is Caleb Wilson out of the University of North Carolina. I think what he does on both ends of the floor is what gets me. His mixtape from his freshman year before he got hurt, I think it's as good as anybody's, man. And the big separating factor between Caleb Wilson and Cam Boozer for me is like Caleb Wilson is just a far superior athlete, in my opinion, on both ends of the floor. First step quickness, the ability to stay in front of guys on the perimeter. I look at Caleb Wilson as an NBA player as somebody that'll be able to guard 1 through 5 legitimately. Like, he's got the quickness to stay in front of guards. He's got the length and toughness to be able to bang down low on the interior. The one thing I worry about is the perimeter game of Caleb Wilson. And the jump shot mechanically looks good. So I don't really worry about it too much. But if we're like splitting hairs here, because we're talking about the elite best of the best dudes, if we splitting hairs, that's probably the thing that holds him back the most. 2nd best player in the country, in my opinion, at this point. And I know some people are going to be stunned by this. You shouldn't be, though, if you have followed college basketball this year and if you understand just how impactful this brother has been. I look at Darius Acuff, man. Darius Acuff Jr., to me, is the best guard in all of college basketball, and I think he's the 2nd best player right now in all of college basketball. You can watch Darius Acuff Jr. and the Arkansas Razorbacks in the SEC championship game. That tips off at 1 p.m. Eastern time. They'll take on Vanderbilt. But man, Darius Acuff's the real deal, bro. And I know yesterday he didn't shoot the ball particularly well, was just 7 to 21 from the field. But, man, the body of work throughout the entirety of the season, man, he may be the best John Calipari guard to date. Yeah, I'm willing to go that far with it. Excuse me. He may be the best John Calipari guard to date. We've seen Derrick Rose. We've seen John Wall. We've seen Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Right? Like he pumps them out. We know what Coach Cal does when it comes to the guard spot. He pumps them out. I think Acuff may be the best one, man. His ability, one, the finishing around the rim is super impressive to me. Just a feathery touch, uses the glass really well. The big-time shot making that we've seen from him throughout the course of the year, just timely bucket after timely bucket. Even yesterday when he wasn't shooting it particularly well, down the stretch, he's got the confidence to go take the shot. That's who I want on my squad. That's the cat that I want on my squad in the month of March. And that's why I'm so high on Arkansas, because of him and Malik Thomas and Billy Richmond. Like, they have the guard play to get it done, but I think he's the best guard in the country right now, man. For my money, it's him. And I think the question mark, because I gave you my positives, and then I gave you some question marks about all of these dudes in the top 5, because as historic as I think this class is going to be, nothing's a sure thing. The one thing that I am worried is too strong of a word. The one thing I want to see more of, and the one thing that I question, can he do it consistently at the NBA level, is beating dudes off the bounce without a ball screen. And I'm really nitpicking here, because you give him a high ball screen, there ain't really nothing you can do with him. He can get to the mid-range. He passes out the double team if you blitz him. Like, he can get it done. He is damn near flawless offensively. But he's the type of dude that I want to see test, because I want to see, well, how high level of an athlete is this kid? 6'3", 190 pounds. Doesn't look like the biggest dude. And I don't know if he's a real 6'3", because you know how we do in college athletics with the program. I told y'all, I went to Division III Bethany College. I was listed at 6'4", damn it. I'm 6'1 3/4. My doctor may say I'm 6'2". But you pick up what I'm putting down. His legitimate, or his actual measurables, rather, is kind of my big thing and what I'm waiting for when it comes to him. But Darius Acuff, to me, best guard in the country, maybe the best John Calipari guard ever, and then the best player in the country. Snubbed for his conference player of the year. It was A.J. DeBonta, man. Leading scorer in all the nation. I think he's a dude that has what it takes to go on an offensive run, similarly to what we saw from Carmelo Anthony back in the day with Syracuse. Like, I think he's that good. He's the type of guy where you can throw it to him and tell everybody else to get the hell out of the way, and he's going to make the right play if the double team comes. Sometimes, if depending on the time in the game, he'll shoot over the double team. This DeBonta kid, there is nobody in the country that is as gifted as he is offensively right now. It's why I give BYU a shot to shock the world and maybe go on an extended run. 310-840-4910 is the number. It's a Sports Sunday here on Westwood One Sports with the youngest in charge, Lynnell Willingham. I'll get you up to 11 a.m. Eastern time. I promised you we'd talk a little bit of National Football League. Legal tampering period in the NFL was last week. The new league year officially started on Wednesday. I'll give you some winners and losers of NFL free agency next here on Westwood One Sports.
Westwood One Sports presents Lynnell Willingham.
Sports Sunday continues with the youngest in charge, Lynnell Willingham, taking you up to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Number to hit me up on the phone, 310-840-4910. 310-840-4910. You can tweet at me as well. Same handle on each and every social media platform. It is at NELL_BTP. Appreciate you checking us out, however you're doing so. Bunch of different ways you can consume the product. SiriusXM, channel 375, WestwoodOneSports.com, and the always free Westwood One Sports app. You can check out the visual element of the program as well. We're streaming live, baby, on YouTube and on X. On YouTube, like, subscribe, comment. Just search Westwood One Sports Night. We will get into the National Football League coming up here. Our guy Carlos with a K will give us our Cup of Joe to go to wrap up the program. So a lot more to get to here on a Sports Sunday here on Westwood One Sports. We'll also give you a fresh installment of Say What, the best audio vault in the world of sports as well. We've talked college basketball. We've talked a little bit of NBA. Can we get into the King? We talked a little bit about the World Baseball Classic. By the way, I think I actually may tune in tonight. Carlos, I may tune in tonight, brother. They may have my attention. The matchup is intriguing, man. I want to see Skeens versus what's basically an MLB All-Star lineup. Mm-hmm. is what the Dominican Republic is out there toting. But let's get into this. NFL free agency. Legal tampering period opened up on Monday. The league year officially began on Wednesday. And as we sit here, get ready to enter week number 2 of free agency, there are some clear-cut winners, in my opinion, and there are some clear-cut losers when it comes to free agency. The one thing that I will say about free agency to this point, I think a lot of teams got better. I think a lot of teams potentially changed the tier that they're being, looked at through, or changed the lens, rather, in which they're being looked at through. I got on here yesterday and told you all I loved what we saw out of the NFC East between Washington, Dallas, New York. Philadelphia, I would say, has taken maybe a little bit of a step back when you talk about some of the pieces that they lost. Reed Blankenship, Nakobe Dean, Jalen Phillips. Like that stuff ain't easy to overcome. You know what I'm saying? But the rest of the NFC East, I thought, got a lot better. As far as winners and losers go, what constitutes a winner to me in free agency? Did you clearly improve a significant weakness that you had? Right? Did you clearly get better? What constitutes a loser, Lynnell? Free agency losers are interesting to me. They come in all different shapes and sizes. I look at a loser in free agency as like a team that didn't sign really any impact players, but more importantly, losing key guys without replacements. So to start, one of my losers of free agency, and Carlos with a K is going to get to pat his back on this one because he was leading the charge last year and maybe he's leading the charge again. How are the Kansas City Chiefs not looked at as a loser here in free agency? Yes, you added the easy button in Kenneth Walker. I will give you that. Bravo. Golf clap for you, right? So that's good. But you lost, 4 starters out of your secondary? Jalen Watson lost to the LA Rams. You traded Trent McDuffie to the LA Rams. You lost Brian Cook to the Cincinnati Bengals. You lost Leo Chenal to the Washington Commanders. Like, this ain't good if you're KC. And I know how they feel about the defensive back room in Kansas City. I get it. They change defensive backs like we change our draws. That's just the way it is. That's how Spags gets down. But losing 3 starters at once? even the best defenses sometimes can't overcome stuff like that. So I am a little bit concerned about Kansas City. It's really my only concern. I do have some concerns about the offensive line. Jawan Taylor, you let go. But I keep forgetting they're armed and loaded with the number 9 pick. And they picked up pick number 26 from the LA Rams. So they can retool. It's just about, well, who do they hit on in the draft? Because I'm thinking at pick number 9, do you go offensive tackle there? Like, is that where Kansas City goes? I know they're not going to draft a corner with a first-round pick. So you can can that. But do they go offensive line? Do they go Kenyon Sadiq, the tight end out of Oregon? Do they go wide receiver? I expected to be an offensive skill guy, which is kind of nuts if you think about it. Because I just told you about all the losses that they suffered defensively. But I still expect them to go get an offensive skill guy. Here's the other piece of this thing that I got to remember when it comes to free agency. And it's why it's kind of premature to do winners and losers at this point. There's still a lot left to do. There's still a lot of players that are still out there in free agency. So if I call you a loser or your team a loser at this juncture, it doesn't mean you have to be a permanent loser, is the best way that I would ultimately put it. I gave you a loser. I'll give you a winner here when it comes to free agency to this point as well, because there are some winners. One big fat winner that I look at and go, yeah, that team clearly has gotten a hell of a lot better, is the Chicago Bears. I'm a big fan of what Ryan Poles and company were able to accomplish in that first wave of free agency, getting better on the defensive side of the football, bringing in Kobe Bryant, the safety from the Super Bowl winning Seattle Seahawks. Love that move for them. The other thing that just makes me optimistic about Chicago, period, is the fact that, like, last year, it feels like they were a year ahead maybe, and they advanced and they did good things and they got better, but it felt like they were a year ahead. Now you get Caleb Williams another year more experienced. Your defense is going to be improved based off of some of the moves you made. I mentioned Kobe Bryant. You bring in Neville Gallimore on the interior to help bolster that pass rush. You bring in a veteran like Kentavious Street to help bolster your pass rush as well. Like, those are the type of moves that you need to make, right? But if you're Chicago, I still have questions about your ability to rush off of the edge. Montez Sweat has been an utter disappointment for Chicago since they traded for him and gave him that contract extension. So that's kind of the area where I look at Chicago and go, hey, man, if you can get a pass rush, you may have a shot here. They lost. Swag and McNoleg said they lost all their starters at DB. They lost Nashawn Wright. They cut Jaquan Brisker. They didn't bring back Kevin Byard. So maybe I should call them a loser. I just really am a fan of Kobe Bryant. And I'm not saying that just because his name is similar to the basketball player. He's a really good safety. I think for Chicago, what you're banking on is Caleb Williams taking another step. But I still think the Bears aren't done and are going to be active here in the second and third waves of free agency. I would call them a winner, though, because I do think Kobe Bryant is an upgrade at the safety spot. I do. He's a young, ascending player that I think has been waiting for an opportunity to be really a full-time starter in this league, and he's going to get it coming up with the Chicago Bears. We'll continue to give you free agency winners and losers coming up on the other side of the break. Plus, we'll talk about the top quarterbacks that changed teams in free agency as well. All that and more comes your way next here on Westwood One Sports with the youngest in charge, Lynnell Willingham.
Willingham.
Listen. Can I walk something back? Can I apologize?
Uh-oh.
I can't call the Bears a winner in free agency. I'm real. I sat with it the whole break, and I got real self-conscious about who's listening across the country on our 200-plus affiliates nationwide as we take you coast to coast here on the Sports Sunday. How can I sit up here and call the Bears a winner? They lost so many pieces. If I'm going to call the Chiefs a loser, I got to call the Bears a loser. It's actually what I meant to do. I have a list of winners and losers here. I read from the wrong list. The Bears are a loser in free agency. You lost Nashawn Wright. You lost your starting safety tandem. You lost your best linebacker in Tremaine Edmonds. They've lost some guys. I'm not going to lie.
Tremaine Edmonds to the Giants, by the way.
What's a small thing to a giant? I don't like the look of it either. Who's this instrumental by? I know this is a Carlos.
For
production.
you, this would be considered a throwback because you're so young. This is a random rap song by The Backwoods called "I Don't Like the Look of It."
The Backwoods is what they're called.
The Backwoods, yes. Backwoods, and I think the feature was Kaz Clay. Let me actually pull that up. They're definitely a one-hit wonder, and this is their one hit. I don't know if you can consider it.
I don't like the look of it.
I just think this is one of the hardest beats out there, and I'm like, who are these dudes that got this sample clearance to go ahead and spit over it?
I think it's a good beat. You're right. I don't like the look of it.
The music video was actually low-key dope, too. They leaned into the whole Willy Wonka bit. They had Oompa Loompas at like a chop shop cleaning rims.
I've never seen Willy Wonka.
It's The Backwoods. It's 2006, and Kaz Clay was the other featured rapper on this track. Completely. I got to send you the video. You're going to be like, how did they afford the production value on this? But it hits hard. It hits really hard.
Well, that's how we're cracking off a final hour of power here on a Sports Sunday with the youngest in charge, Lynnell Willingham. As I mentioned, we take you up to 11 a.m. Eastern time each and every Saturday and Sunday here on Westwood One Sports, giving you some winners and losers as far as NFL free agency is concerned. I've given you two losers to this point. The Chicago Bears and the Kansas City Chiefs. You just walking it back that fast, aren't you, Lynnell? You're damn right I am. I made a mistake. I didn't mean it. So now I'm saying what I mean. Bears and Chiefs, to me, big-time losers. They both lost a lot throughout the course of free agency. I have a winner. Winner, chicken dinner. And this one's kind of an easy winner if you've been paying attention. It's not the deepest of cuts. I can't believe I'm doing this. The Cleveland Browns, baby. Cleveland Browns, to me, are a big winner throughout the course of free agency to this point. And here's why. Remember what I said the requirements were to be a winner. You had to significantly improve a major weakness that you have on your football team. One of the major weaknesses of the Cleveland Browns has been their offensive line. Insert Zion Johnson of the LA Chargers, who got a massive 3-year, $49.5 million deal. He was one of the best guards in football, little undersized, but is a war daddy. At the guard spot, he comes in and bolsters that offensive line. They end up nabbing Elgton Jenkins as well. Elgton Jenkins from the Green Bay Packers on a 2-year, $24 million deal.
The G is silent. He actually went on media tour and it's like,
so it's
stop
Elton?
calling me Elton. It's just Elton. The G is silent.
What the hell is the G silent for?
It's very funny. I don't know. G's move in silence like lasagna.
Shout out to Dwayne Michael Carter. But no, they bring in Elgton Jenkins. I'll say this about Jenkins. I would think that Jenkins and Zion Johnson are going to be the guard tandem for the Cleveland Browns, because if you're a Packers fan, you understand that Elgton Jenkins at center less than Elgton Jenkins at guard. And they've already got Garrett Bradbury. Excuse me, not Garrett Bradbury. That's the center for the Chicago Bears. The Cleveland Browns at the center spot already have Luke Whippler. So, like, I'm thinking that's who's going to be their center. He's been their center the past couple of seasons. I would think Elton Jenkins goes to one of the guard spots, but who knows? They also made the trade for Titus Howard to start the league year. So they've improved and got 3 new starters up front along the offensive line. What was the big issue for them last year? Offense. Some people are going to blame the skill position spot. Yes, that was certainly part of it, but I think the offensive line was the bigger issue for the Cleveland Browns, and they get better as they now have 3 new starters up front along their offensive line. They re-signed Tevin Jenkins, who had a strong year last year. So the Cleveland Browns are interesting to me, man. What they're going to do at quarterback is the bigger question, though. We have heard really all off season long to this point from Andrew Berry that it was going to be a quarterback competition between Shedeur Sanders and Deshaun Watson. Is that what's best for business for the Browns at this juncture? Probably. Here's the thing. I believe in competition, right? I think competition rules everything. If I was a general manager or leading an organization, that would be the foundation of my program. It would be centered around culture and competition. I want the damn lunch ladies competing for who's got the juiciest sirloin. I want the damn janitors competing for who scrubs the floors the best. I want the strength and conditioning coaches competing for who puts together the best weightlifting program. I want competition. Here's the thing, though. Would it be beneficial for Shedeur Sanders to go through a real competition right now? Hear me out here. You got to figure out what you got in Shedeur if you're Cleveland. Like, that's what this year should be about. Last year, you didn't get enough of a sample size. This time around, and I know I preach competition, I would give him every opportunity to win the starting job. I would give him every opportunity to win the starting job. Because if he shows that he's your answer, your franchise is turned around. If he shows signs of being the answer, your franchise is turned around. You need a glimmer of hope at the position. You need a shot in the arm. You need some sort of long-term potential at the quarterback position if you're Cleveland. So I would give Shedeur every chance possible to win the job. I would not do a traditional quarterback competition because guess what Shedeur clearly benefited from at the end of the year? Reps. The more reps he got, the better he played. So if I was Cleveland, I don't want to just hand him the job, no, but I want him to get a lion's share of the reps throughout the offseason program so I can see what it is and what it ain't with him by season's end. You, for the most part, understand what you have in Deshaun Watson. I hate to say it. Shedeur is still a big-time question mark. I'm not saying he's going to end up being the franchise guy, but it would be irresponsible of you as an organization to leave the 2026 season not having an answer to that question. I feel the same way. About the Pittsburgh Steelers when it comes to Will Howard. You can play the Aaron Rodgers game all you want. It would be totally irresponsible to me to get through 2026 not knowing what Will Howard is. I went on a tangent there, but the Browns, I'll say all that to say, are one of the early winners, in my opinion, of free agency because of their ability to improve one of the weakest spots on their roster, talking about that offensive line. 3 new starters up front, Zion Johnson, Elton Jenkins, and then they made the trade for Titus Howard, formerly of the Houston Texans. Doing winners and losers here of NFL free agency here to start. You can give me some winners and losers as well on the phones at 310-840-4910. I'll give you another winner because that's what I'm feeling like here. I gave you 2 losers in Chicago and Kansas City. I'll give you 2 winners. Shedeur Sanders and the Browns are a winner because they revamped the offensive line. Can I stay in the conference? Let's do that. I hate to say it. I hate to say it because they don't get a whole lot of love. How can you look at the New York Jets and not say the Jets are winners of free agency here? And I know folks are going to say, the Jets? Well, no, what the hell are you talking about? They brought in, when you're a team that has culture problems, when you're a team that your head coach doesn't have control of the locker room, what the Jets needed to do was bring in adults into the building, and they did just that. Their free agency haul to this point, full of dudes that know how to lead, right? You bring in Demario Davis. You make the trade for Minkah Fitzpatrick. You make the trade for Geno Smith. You bring in Nashawn Wright. Like, they did what they were supposed to do here in the early stages of free agency. Got to give the Jets a round of applause in terms of what they were able to accomplish. Can I tell you my favorite move for the Jets? My favorite move for the Jets was actually trading for Geno. That was their best move, trading for Geno. Here is why. I think most folks, now, look, the Raiders were terrible last year. I'm not going to sit here and try and, put lipstick on a pig for you. It is what it is. The New York Jets were god-awful last year. Geno Smith is not a god-awful quarterback, though. And with their supporting cast, I love their offensive line. The tackle tandem of Armand Membu and Olu Fashanu, and you got Joe Tippmann at guard. Like, I like what they have. Garrett Wilson at wide receiver with Breece Hall in the backfield. Like, they got weapons. Mason Taylor at tight end. They just had Justin Fields. And Justin Fields sucks. Let's just call it what it is, right? Justin Fields at this point in his career ain't worth a damn. Geno Smith, on the other hand, put last year in the garbage. I'm asking you politely. Throw it away, right? 19 touchdowns, 17 picks. He was terrible. In the 3 years prior in Seattle, Geno Smith threw 71 touchdowns to 35 interceptions. From 2022 to 2024, he threw 71 touchdowns and 35 interceptions. It's a pretty damn good ratio, ain't it? He's an adult at the position. He has resurrected his career. He has. Last year was a total farce. Last year, I don't put a whole bunch of stock into what happened because the situation in Vegas was awful. Well, was the situation any better with the Jets? It actually is. The Raiders were a USFL level team last year in terms of their talent, right? Offensively, the Jets have some pieces. I referenced the offensive line. I referenced the wide receivers, the skill group. It's just going to be on Geno to play point guard. And when you talk about being in a Frank Reich offense where you're going to be tasked with getting the football out of your hands quickly, like I think Geno could do that. I do. I'm not saying the Jets are going to make the playoffs. I'm not saying the Jets are going to win even 7 games, 6 games. But they may win 6. I'm just saying they're not going to be a bottom feeder the way that they were last year. I don't expect this to be a 2-3 win team. If they are, Aaron Glenn, brother, your ass is grass. Just call it what it is. But the Jets are one of the winners of free agency for me as well, man, just because of what they were able to do, securing a legitimately good option in terms of the bridge quarterback. So shout out to the Jets for that. Winners and losers of NFL free agency is what we're dishing on right now here on Westwood One Sports as we take you coast to coast here on a Sports Sunday with the youngest in charge, Lynnell Willingham. Another winner of free agency, and we talked about the NFC East yesterday, so I'm not gonna continue to pat the NFC East on the back. Another big winner of free agency, I'll actually stay in the AFC, and I'll go to the LA Chargers. I like what the Chargers have done at this point. And when it comes to the free agency winners and losers, right, it's not just about what you did in free agency. Like, I take into account coaching signings, I take into account trades, and so on and so forth. I like what they've done. You bolster your defensive front by bringing in Dalvin Tomlinson from the Arizona Cardinals. I think he gets you bigger and beefier in the middle. You upgrade your offensive line, bringing in Cole Strange and Tyler Biadasz. Their run game is going to be so exotic next year, man. Like, that's what I'm most excited for. You're bringing Alex Ingold, who to me was one of your more important signings in terms of, it's changing your offensive philosophy. We know what Mike McDaniel's going to come in there and do. Death, taxes, and they're going to run the hell out of the football next year. Guaranteed. Charlie Kohler comes from Baltimore, one of the better blocking tight ends in the NFL, to help with that transition as well. So I like what the Chargers have done, getting tougher in the trenches, bringing in Biadasz, bringing in Cole Strange, bringing in Charlie Kohler, getting Alex Ingold in there, improving the defensive line. I worry about their pass rush, though. They lost Odafe Oweh to the Washington Commanders. Now, Odafe Oweh was a damn menace for the Chargers down the stretch, and it's why he ultimately earned the job. But remember, they traded for Odafe Oweh because they didn't have the pass rush pop that they needed. Khalil Mack is back, but you lost Oweh. So I do have some question marks about, about how the Chargers, are going to be able to get after the quarterback. In a division with Pat Mahomes, in a division with Pat Mahomes and Bo Nix, you're going to have to find a way to get after the opposing team's quarterback. And I think when it comes to this group, they are definitely in a spot where they're definitely in a spot where the offense, I think, will have enough firepower, to ultimately put them in position and get them where they need to be. But I do worry about the defense a little bit. Just a little bit. 310-840-4910 is the number. If you have any free agency winners and losers here to this point, we'll take your calls on that at 310-840-4910. You can tweet at me as well. Same handle on each and every social media platform. It is at NELL_BTP. Couple of different housekeeping notes we got to get to before we wrap this bad boy up as we get you up to 11 a.m. Eastern time. I want to take your calls on free agency. Also want to talk about some of the quarterbacks that were on the move as well. Kyler Murray has a new home. Geno Smith, a new home. Tua with a new home. We'll discuss all of those guys coming up as well. Plus, we'll get you the most highly anticipated audio vote in all sports talk radio. Say what? All that and more comes your way next. Sports Sunday continues with the youngest in charge and Willingham taking you up to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Number to hit me up, 310-840-4910. You hit me up on the phones with this. Give me some winners and losers of NFL free agency, and then what we're chewing on right now is this. Which quarterback in a new destination do you expect to play the best coming up in 2026? 310-840-4910 is the number. Let's go out to our guy Mitch in New Jersey who wants to chime in. Mitch, welcome into Westwood One Sports, pal.
Hi, Lynnell. How's it going?
Going well, man.
And would you say the Raiders did pretty good? They got themselves 2 linebackers and an edge. Quiddy Payne, love that name. Also, Nakobe Dean from the Eagles and Quay Walker, love it. And then I really wanted the first round picks. That would have been something because they could Mekhi Lemon for that 14. Now they got Max back and they're going to honor those contracts. So the defense got
they got a hell of a lot better, man. So, Mitch, I don't know if you tell me if I'm overreacting or not. I agree with you. Their linebacker tandem with Quay Walker and Nakobe Dean, I mean, we got to see that Raider team up close in person when they played my beloved Commanders. I mean, they were one of the worst teams in football last year. What I love about the Raiders is, to me, offensively, they're setting themselves up to be in a really interesting spot. Tyler Linderbaum makes you better in 2 spots because it allows you to kick Jackson Powers-Johnson to guard. You already have Colton Miller. So you've got 3/5 of your offensive line already figured out here if you're the Las Vegas Raiders. I'll be real, though. I think I would have liked them better with the 2 first-round picks. Now, I know Max Crosby's going to come back and have a big impact, but it's going to be interesting to me, man. I want to know what they're going to do at quarterback when it comes to their bridge guy, because we keep hearing, or we heard from John Spytek rather at the Combine, that, you know, they do not want to start Fernando Mendoza from day number 1 if they do take a young quarterback. But Mitch, tell me if I'm crazy. If they get Kirk Cousins as the bridge, and I expect that to be the case, and they are able to spend some more money at the skill position spot, they already signed Jalen Naylor for the Minnesota Vikings, who I think is a guy that's kind of waiting to pop and be a legitimate number 2 in this league. Can they follow the trend of the 2023 Texans, of the 2024 Commanders, of the 2025 Patriots? Can they be on that same trajectory? Talking about
if they hit on all their draft choices, spend every last dime they have under the cap. I agree. I would rather have. Now you have 3 because they signed Coons, so now you have 3
Malcolm
guys
Coons,
in the edge.
yeah, exactly. So you got
Right.
Coons, you got Quiddy Pay, and you got Max Crosby. I also believe Tyree Walker is still under contract for them as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what they got, man. The Raiders are for sure going to be a frisky group.
I want Mendoza stuff from day 1. I want this registration. But if they do have to do that, I wish I had been Kyler Murray. Had it been last year, I'm sure last year the Cardinals were having second thoughts about Kyler Murray.
Right.
And they gave up a 3 for Geno, and that was also a blessing too. They got a draft choice for Geno. That's amazing. And thanks for taking my call.
Appreciate you as always, man. Good call, Mitch. 310-840-4910 is the number, talking free agency winners and losers in the National Football League. Did I mention that yesterday? Carlos, did I bring up what I just said yesterday? It's kind of a spicy take. Like, I think the Raiders, I expect Kirk Cousins to be their bridge guy. I don't know what they're waiting on here, but I expect Kirk to be the bridge guy. Is there any chance that the Raiders can follow suit of the Texans, the Commanders, and the Patriots?
No. I hate to burst that bubble. I don't think Fernando.
Well, we didn't think the Patriots had a shot this year, though.
No, I didn't think the Patriots had a shot.
I did, though. I called
it. It was you.
Go back and get the old
England.
Infinity Files. Go get the old Infinity Files. I said it a couple of times this summer.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I thought Drake May was going to be a good quarterback. I just didn't think he had a supporting cast. And what happened for the Patriots is every single free agency signing they hit big.
Draft picks as well, too.
And the draft picks, that's right. The Raiders don't necessarily have a good history of hitting on draft picks. Alex Leatherwood, Darius Hayward Bay, Clennon Farrell.
What a pull. Cleveland Farrell, yeah, Clee.
So,
even down to Tyree Walker, who they just took the edge rusher not too long ago. So you're not totally wrong. You're not wrong at all, really, when you say that. I was going to say hell no at first because of the division, right?
Mm-hmm.
Chargers, Broncos, Chiefs. New England was playing in a division with Buffalo.
Yeah, and everybody thought Buffalo was going to win, was going to walk into the AFC.
So that's why I do give them, some sort of a puncher's chance here. I want to keep you tagged in on this, Carlos, because obviously we were talking about this yesterday during the break. We briefly mentioned it. As far as like quarterbacks that are in new situations, quarterbacks that have a new destination, a new home, am I a nut for thinking Geno Smith may ultimately have the most success out of those guys in year one? And here's who we're talking about. Mm-hmm. Tua in competition now with Michael Penix. Malik Willis going to be the unquestioned starter in Miami. You also have Kyler Murray, now the new starter in Minnesota with the Vikings. And then Kirk Cousins, I expect to be a bridge with the Las Vegas Raiders. I just think for Geno, I think I'll talk down on the other guys to prop Geno up is how I'll do it.
Okay.
I don't know if I love the fit, Carlos, of Kyler in Minnesota. That is an offense that traditionally asks its quarterbacks to play on time and to play on schedule. We know Kyler's a playmaker, has an affinity for scrambling. I wonder if the quarterback whisperer, Kevin O'Connell, can lock in with Kyler and get him to play on time. So I don't love the fit. As far as Malik Willis, I mean, to me, he was the biggest loser of free agency. I think going to Miami and following John Eric Sullivan and Jeff Hafley makes no sense. Those two dudes weren't the reason that you had success on the football field in Green Bay. It was your supporting cast. It was that offensive line. It was Josh Jacobs. It was Tucker Kraft. It was the litany of wide receivers that you had at your disposal. I don't think Miami's skill position group is damn near good enough for him to have success or to even get close to replicating last year's success. So I'm automatically counting him out. It's interesting. The two quarterbacks I'm most interested in, Tua in Atlanta and then Geno with the Jets. I can talk myself into a scenario where Tua plays well in Atlanta. Look at the supporting cast. Decent offensive line, the best back in football, one of the best young tight ends. Drake London has emerged as a legitimate top 10 to top 12 receiver. And I love the play caller. Like, that could be a situation that's interesting. I just wonder, and we're going to actually hear from Falcons GM Terry Fontenot coming up in Say What as I mad dash an effort to get you over the audio. I think I sent it to you yesterday, Carlos.
Yeah.
So we will have Terry Fontenot and Say What, the former GM of the Falcons, who made the decision to ultimately draft Michael Penix. So, like, that battle to me, I would think now that Fontenot is out of there, there's no real loyalty, I would say, to Michael Penix. So do they just let the best man win? Is that the situation here? And if it is, Tua's the one that's starting off healthy. So I would have to think that he's got the leg up.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there. I mean, I think I agree with you in terms of Tua and Penix, kind of letting them fight it out. There's no loyalty to Penix now that Fontenot has been fired. And, it's funny. It feels like a day late and the doll's short when it comes to Terry Fontenot, when it comes to in Atlanta there. And same thing with the head coach, and I hate to say that about Rasheed Morris, but, it feels like that was just kind of a scramble hire to begin with. It really looks like Arthur Blank wanted Bill Belichick, but then Rich McKay got in his ear like, I'm not going to get fired, brother. So I'm not sure what to make of that situation there. I don't really like necessarily the Tua fit as much as you do in terms of Atlanta. I do like Kevin Stefanski as a play caller, winning 2 Coaches of the Year awards with the Cleveland Browns of all franchises.
He should get extra credit for that.
Right. I feel like he should have got 2.5 awards. But I actually don't hate your assessment in regards to Geno Smith and the Jets. I do like what the Jets are building. The only thing is, I like what the Vikings have kind of piece for piece a little bit more than what the Jets do, with the exception of the running back room. I'll take Breece Hall and Braylon Allen over, the corpse of Aaron Jones and whoever's going to be backing him up, like Jordan Mason and whatnot. Jordan Mason's a good back. The 49ers and Broncos are like two of the teams that always churn out good backs.
Is he a starter, though, is the question.
Yeah, I don't know if he can handle the load. We haven't seen it do it yet. So, we'll see. But, any CMC handcuff that in previous years, people just ran him to go get him. But with Kyler Murray, it's going to kind of be like a Pat Mahomes, Tyreek Hill situation where Kyler Murray's going to be standing in the pocket and be like, all right, F it. Justin Jefferson's down there somewhere. So when you have one of the best receivers on the planet, I tend to lean toward your supporting cast for a quarterback being a little bit better than somebody else's. So I like the Kyler situation. One, if he can't make it work here with Kevin O'Connell with that group, because it's not just Justin Jefferson, you got Jordan Addison as well, TJ Hawkinson. So you got some ballers in terms of receivers. If you can't make it work there, your Kyler, your career is cooked. So I like Kyler one, but I would put Geno, like, honestly, if you're really being optimistic, I would say Geno's in a 1B situation or 2 out of the 4 quarterbacks, or 5 if Kirk Cousins winds up going to the Raiders. I'm with you. Malik Willis I think is in the worst spot. The Dolphins have become basically the Packers South. And the Packers, if it wasn't for the extended wild card, the Packers would miss the playoffs like 4 or 5 years straight. So I'm not.
Yeah, I know you have a hate. I know you have a massive hate for the old Green Bay Packers. Let's go to the phones here. I got Athen in Annapolis wants to check in. Athen, welcome in, pal.
Linus, have you been at the dispensary again with Chris Russell on U Street? What are you talking about? Geno Smith is going to resurrect the Jets.
Whoa! No one said he was going to resurrect the Jets. I said they have an adult in the room at quarterback for the first time in a while. Geno Smith is the best Jets quarterback since who? Geno Smith? Like, think about what they've had at under center the past couple of years.
No, listen, they still have that owner, though. And as being a Washington fan, the toxicity a bad owner can bring. So I don't think Geno Smith could hit the broadside of a barn, and they're looking at a 4 or 5 win team next year. But the team that's really going to think to descend and starting to go into the abyss and maybe have problems is Philadelphia. They haven't signed anyone of worth of mention. They have a lot of money tied up in old players, and even though they have draft picks and Howie Roseman has a good resume, I start to see them start to descend and Giants and Washington start to rise.
And maybe the home run. The Philly part, Philadelphia is it's still a top 10 defense. They added Tariq Woolen. I just don't know what they're doing offensively. But if they're healthy, I don't agree with this notion that Philadelphia is some corpse of a football team. They've been in the Super Bowl 2 out of the last 4 years. They won it a year ago or 2 years ago. So, the writing off of Philly never made sense to me. As long as they keep A.J. Brown in the fold, I think they'll be fine talking about Philadelphia. I appreciate the call as always. 310-840-4910 is the number. That's interesting that he brought up the potential regression of the Philadelphia Eagles. I know a lot of people across the country feel that way. We got a report from Diana Rossini on Friday saying, hey, the Eagles not going to trade A.J. Brown at this time. It was the Rams and the Patriots. Those were the 2 teams that were described as the most aggressive. If I'm Howie Roseman, I'm not in the business of giving away good football players. It's just the bottom line. The most highly anticipated audio vault in all of sports talk radio comes your way next with Say What? We'll do that and give you a cup of Joe to go as well. That's next here on Westwood One Sports.
Westwood One Sports presents Lynnell.
We done did it again, y'all. We've made it through another sports weekend. Here on Westwood One Sports, youngest in charge, Lynnell Willingham, riding with you for one and final segment as I get you up to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Appreciate you all locking into the show, however you've done so throughout the first 3 hours. Sirius XM, channel 375, WestwoodOneSports.com, and the always free Westwood One Sports app. You can check out the live stream on YouTube and X. On X, hit me up. Same handle on every platform. It is at NELL_BTP. And then on YouTube, if you want to check out the show, just search Westwood One Sports Night. Man, I was on X during the commercial break, and that's what I do every commercial. I'm just on X. I'm scrolling, sending Carlos video. I'm looking at the YouTube subscriber count. By the way,
clarify what kind of X you're on.
Well,
known as Twitter.
The app formerly known as Twitter. 834 subscribers, by the way, you all. I have a feeling, because I was explaining this to my to my brother Carlos. I was like, man, last night he was or 2 nights ago rather, he asked me could he come over, just hang out, play some video games, watch college basketball. He's doing the whole like stepfather bit now. We're all getting old. He's turns 30 in 7 days. I'm 28.
You say old like 30's old. Brother, wait till you get 40, man.
I know.
Although I keep saying 40 is the new 30.
But Carlos, on some real talk though, like not even trying to kiss your ass, because like I mean you do good work regardless. You don't look 40. You look like you're like 27.
I get that all the time. I guess it's good genes and whatnot. I'll take it.
You do not look 40. You look like you're my age.
I will definitely take it and run with it as long as I possibly can.
For sure. When the letters start thinning, I think that's the giveaway. When it comes to people,
when I let the beard grow out and you see a little bit of the mini gray, then that's a
little salt and pepper situation over there.
Exactly.
For our guy Carlos with a K. But no, I brought up my brother because in sports talk radio, man, especially when you're doing overnights, 3 nights out of the week, and then they ask you to wake up to do an 8 to 11 a.m. show 2 days out of the week. You get no circadian rhythm. But we ball, though, man. I love this. I wouldn't trade this gig for anything in the world. I wouldn't trade this situation for anything in the world. It's awesome. I'm a believer of the big man upstairs putting you in position when he sees fit, not when you see fit. So this is what my life currently consists of. But I was saying to my brother, man, on Friday night, I was like, man, Friday night for me is like Sunday night. If I was working a regular like 9 to 5 Monday through Friday job. My Friday night's like Sunday night. I got to go to bed early. I got to be up on Saturday. Saturday's my Monday. Sunday's my Tuesday. Monday's my Wednesday. Tuesday's my Thursday. And Wednesday is my Friday.
Yeah.
That's just basically the way that it rocks here. So I appreciate you all getting my work week off to a good start. You'll hear plenty from me during the week, as you know, on Westwood One Sports Night, 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. Eastern Time. You all are rocking out with us on the YouTube chat. Our affiliates giving us a bunch of love. So keep doing what you're doing so we can keep doing what we're doing. A couple of different things I wanted to get to. We got to have our guy Carlos give us our cup of Joe to go. But before we do that, you know how we get down here on Westwood One Sports. The most highly anticipated audio vault in all of sports talk radio. It is time for Say What?
They are who we thought they were.
We in here. The biggest names in sports step up to the mic.
The guy is drunk. The
best audio in the world of sports.
Here's a drive in deep left field by Castellanos, and it'll be a home run.
Come after me!
I don't come with the bullshit.
It's Say What? With Lynnell Willingham and Carlos with a K.
All right, we'll start off Say What with former Falcons general manager Terry Fontenot. You talked about it before we went to break. Tua Tagovailoa is one of the new acquisitions by the Falcons to bolster up that quarterback room. So it'll be 2 lefties, Tua and Michael Penix Jr., who I blanked on for a quick second, and then my brain started to restart. They'll be going at it for the starter's job to assign for the veterans minimum. Let's hear, courtesy of NFL Radio on Sirius XM, former GM Terry Fontenot on what to expect for Tua versus Penix.
The situation that they're in right now, they move on from Kirk Cousins, so now they need to add to the quarterback room. So adding Tua, that's a good business decision, right? You got Miami paying for it. They're paying just over $1 million on that contract, so it makes sense for them to get him in, take a look at him. From Mike Penix's standpoint, again, true total speculation, but knowing Mike well, I'm sure he has that mindset to whatever. I don't know the conversations that are happening in the building between the staff and the team brass and Mike and Tua. So what's been told to them, but I know the mindset of Mike is to focus on the rehab, do everything you can do to get healthy and get back on the field so you can go and compete and help this team. I think this team is really talented.
So it was so fascinating to hear from Terry Fontenot. Like first of all, how rare is it that we get a situation like this where a fired GM gets to speak on his former organization less than 2 months after they let his ass go.
Serious, like recently fired.
Like recently fired, and the quarterback that he drafted is a part of it. So we had the conversation before we took the last time out. The timeline for Michael Penix is the thing that's going to determine how much he plays this year. Because if Tua is the day one starter in the offseason program, like when they hit the field for OTAs, I don't see him relinquishing that job to Michael Penix. I don't. And we've said this a couple of different times. The folks that are in that building, no loyalty, no allegiance to Michael Penix. What you got for us next?
Yeah, definitely. And Michael Penix also got drafted a little bit older, already with an injury history. Right. So we'll see what happens there. Let's go to last night's, I guess you can call it an upset. Vanderbilt knocks off Florida in the SEC conference tournament. The final score 91-74. Let's hear from the head coach, Mark Byington, on Vanderbilt's performance against Florida.
I had confidence in our offense coming to the game. We scored 94 points against them the first time we played them. And that might have been the most of any SEC team. And we really put our focus on defense. And the offense was going to take care of itself as long as we rebound, as long as we play defense. But the sharing of the ball and making good decisions. With Duke Miles and Tyler Tanner being able to find guys and making them be successful, I thought that was the biggest part of our offense.
Yeah, and he hit it right on the head. It was defense. That was the name of the game. They held the Gators to 5 of 17 from downtown. He mentioned rebounding. They got crushed on the glass. Florida out-rebounded Vandy by 15, yet lost the game by 17 points because Vanderbilt was tacky hot. 30 of 55 from the field. They shot 55%. That's why they scored 91 points. They were 10 of 21 from downtown. The other area in which they got over on Florida was the turnover battle and the points off of the turnovers. They scored 24 points off of the 13 turnovers, the 14 turnovers rather from the Florida Gators. So good for Vandy. Still think Florida's the better team, not ruling out Florida going on a national championship run. I don't put a whole lot of stock on what happened yesterday. I don't.
Yeah, Vanderbilt and Arkansas will tip off in about 2 hours to find out who the winner is going to be. All right, last one really quickly. Lakers had a crazy comeback win to tie it. Austin Reeves with a purposely missed free throw to send the game into overtime, and then Luka hits the overtime bucket to give the Lakers a win over the Nuggets. Let's hear from J.J. Redick, head coach of the Lakers, on that missed play for Austin Reeves.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are going to give me a lot of crap. So we set it up for him to miss, and when I had kind of relayed instructions, it was to miss to the right side because that was the single side at the time, and it ended up being the left side was a single side, so they all gave me crap in the locker room. But AR made the right play. He missed to the single side, and you know, it's a hell of a basketball play, and certainly he's got good touch. He's got good touch. I'll say that. He's a good bowler. Apparently good in ping pong, although he hasn't played me yet. Pickleball, tennis, golf, all those things. But it was a great basketball game.
Lakers right now the 3 seed in the West, half game lead over the Rockets, game and a half lead over the 6 seed. who is the Denver Nuggets. If the playoffs started today, it would be a 3-6 matchup against Denver. Here's the thing. I can't believe LA is actually the 3 seed. Like, didn't it feel like a lot of people kind of counted out the Lakers and didn't give them an opportunity to be a legitimate top seed in the West? Everyone put teams like Minnesota over them. Now, they're on a logjam. They may end up being the 6th seed. They only have a game and a half lead, but they've missed Luka for extended periods. They've missed LeBron for extended periods to start the year. They missed Austin Reeves for an extended period of time. And they have DeAndre Ayton and Jackson Hayes in the damn front court. They should be winning, but they are. We're winning too because of you all, man. Appreciate you all locking into the show the way that you do each and every weekend. Thank you to the super producer, Carlos with a K. Thank you to our guy, Lee, for playing the funky tunes and taking your calls. And then more importantly, thank you for your calls, man. Support all throughout the country here on Westwood One Sports. I'm back with you tomorrow night, 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. Eastern Time.